What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm super excited. We finally got the base map tuned for my hatch. So hopefully, we're gonna go ahead and load that onto the new ECU and we'll get this thing fired up. I really don't know what to expect. I had to change a couple of the settings in there because the base map, it had like, the injector size was too big. Honestly, I don't really know what injectors are in this engine. I'm pretty sure they're the stock Accord V6 injectors, so I went ahead and changed it to like E36 M3 BMW injectors because it was the closest ones I could find to what the stock Accord injector size was, which are 240 cc's, I believe. The E40 or the E36 M3 was 250 or something, so it was pretty close. So I went ahead and changed that. And then I had to change like the map sensor and stuff like that for what I have. So hopefully, if all of that goes well, she'll fire up, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead, I just got the battery put back in it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hook the ECU up and load the tune into it, and we'll see what happens. All right, so I got the ECU plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and put the key in, turn the power on, make sure it fires up like it's supposed to. And did not. So we gotta figure out what's going on here. Something else must have happened. Check that fuse that I put in the line, make sure it's good. I don't really know what's going on here. Fuse looks good. Interesting. It's not good. I don't know. Last time they said to we might have some problems here, guys. I don't really know. Last time, all I had to do was unhook the ECU for a few minutes and then it fired up, but this time it did not. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to unplug it again for a little bit and plug it back in, and hopefully something will happen, but if not, I really don't know what to do. Alright, you guys, so I have been doing a lot of work out here. I went through every single ground that I could find inside the car and in the engine bay. And I took my Dremel and just cleaned them all up to make sure they were getting a good connection. And I found one that was actually loose. So now we turn the key on and the fuel pump primes. So the ECU is coming back on. So we had a ground problem, but it has been fixed. And unfortunately my laptop died, so I'm waiting for it to boot up now. And then we can try to load that tune and see if it'll start. Alright, you guys, so I'm sitting in the hatch now. I'm just trying to get the base map tune that I got uploaded to the AEM ECU. So we're going to let it go ahead and connect. We're going to see if we can open our base tune. Okay. But I don't know how we load it into the ECU. Because right here under ECU there's a commit modifications, but I can't do that. Alright guys, so the battery is slowly dying, but I got it. I'm pretty sure I uploaded the tune to the ECU, and now it kind of wants to start, but it still won't start all the way. Definitely wants to start, but it's not quite there yet. Let me see if I can give it some throttle to help it out here. It wants to go. Come on, baby. I don't know, guys, we might have to get a different base map. This one's getting us close, but not quite there. You guys, we are so close. It really wants to go. Oh, we're right there. So close. We're like on the verge of firing up. All right, guys, so the whole problem I was having before where the ECU wasn't getting enough power was because of that ground. There was a couple sketchy grounds in the engine bay from the harness. And the way I diagnosed that was I came onto the Infinity Tuner software and I came up to the Wizards tab and then Setup Wizard. I came down to Basic Sensors and then looked at the pinout. So on here, you can see the plug for the ECU, and then I went down, I expanded all these out so you could see. So you can see that this C1-10 pin is supposed to have full-time battery power, so I checked it on the plug with my voltmeter. The little holes were too small for the voltmeter probe to go into, so I just got a little staple and broke it in half and stuck it down into the hole, checked it, and that showed 12 volt. There is a second one on here that should be full-time 12 volt. Somewhere, right. Ignition switch signal, I checked that, had 12 volt. And then there was, right here, 12 volt power from EFI relay. Both of these two right here when I checked them, which I imagine is coming from the main relay. But when I checked them, they only had 4 or 5 volts instead of 12. So I knew that was the problem. I was worried I had a bad main relay, but I went through all the grounds first and found some bad ones, and now it shows 12 volts and we're all good to go. So now the ECU powers up every time I turn the key on and we're good to go. So now I'm just kind of trying to mess around with the tune a little bit, see if I can get this thing to start. But I just tried to upload the base map to the ECU, and it says it can't do it because I have an outdated firmware. So I'm wondering if yesterday when I was doing this and trying to actually get the engine to start, if I was doing it without the base map loaded and that's why it wouldn't start. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is update my Infinity software, and then I'm going to try to update the firmware on the ECU again, and I'm going to start all this over, re-upload the tune, and then see what happens. All right, you guys, you can't see me at all, and it's very dark in here, but I went ahead and set up the drive-by-wire stuff on the Infinity. I reset it up because I went ahead and just reinstalled everything, so we're back to square one. I went ahead and uploaded the, it was like a Honda S2000 base map or whatever, edited everything so it reflects the V6 stuff, and now we'll go ahead and see what happens if we can get to start. I got it on the diagnostics tab. One of the guys at work told me that if everything's hooked up properly, at least the cam and crank sensor, I should see RPM while it's cranking right here on the engine RPM. So we'll go ahead and see if this will start up. Hey, we're working. We are running, guys. Hell yeah. We are there. Now we can just fine-tune this thing a little bit. We'll have to fine-tune it a little bit. It's idling at like 2,000 RPM, so we'll have to set all of that stuff up. But we are running. We are there, guys. The hatch is alive. All right, you guys. So I came out here last night just briefly, and I kind of messed with the idle on the tuning for the AEM. Because when I got it to start that first time, it was idling super high. It was idling at like 2,400 RPMs or whatever. So last night I was tweaking with it a little bit. I'm actually gonna open the garage door real quick. But I was tweaking with it a little bit, and I got the idle come down to, it's about 1,700 RPMs now. It's not perfect, but it's there, it's close. And also idles really smooth. It does have a little bit of a misfire when it first starts up, or at least it did last night. I haven't let it run very long yet because it doesn't have any of the coolant lines or nothing hooked up, but hopefully tomorrow when I get off work, I'm gonna head up to Jags and get all of the -16 AN fittings and lines so I can hook up the radiator, and then we'll be able to let it actually get warm and idle for a bit longer. Then we can tweak the tune a little bit here and there. So I also reached out to iRate Racing. They're about 25 minutes south of my house. About tuning it, so I'm waiting to hear back on from those guys on whether or not they want to tune it, and then hopefully we'll be able to get this thing tuned relatively quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna fire it up real quick so you guys can hear. It sounds much better on the idle. It's again, it idles at a relatively low idle compared to how it was the other day. And actually, I kind of want to see if we can get to move under its own power too. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can just pull it up a little bit and maybe back it up a little bit under its own power. That's so awesome, guys. I cannot be more thrilled about that. The hatch moves under its own power. How amazing. Oh my goodness, it's been a long road to get here. But anyways, there is one other thing that I want to fix on it. I'll have to get back in there and show you what the issue is that it's having. I'm actually gonna close the garage door back down so I don't let all the heat out. Got a fire going in here. Trying to keep it nice and warm, but well, I'm gonna let it air out a little bit. It smells like exhaust pretty bad in here. But anyways, I'm gonna get in the car real quick and then I'll show you what the other issue that I want to diagnose is. I'm gonna try to dive into that tonight and get that straightened out because it's gonna have to be done before we get a tune on it. All right, guys, I know I'm pretty dark, you probably can't see me very well, but down here I got my nitrous arming switch. So I'll go ahead and arm that so you can see the red lights on now. And I got my wide open throttle switch hooked up, so when I push the gas pedal all the way down, you'll hear the throttle switch click maybe. There you go. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but I could hear it. But now when I push the button, the solenoids aren't firing. So the button's on, off, on, off. And the solenoids aren't clicking. So I need to figure out what's going on with the solenoids. So I'm going to just run through the wires with my voltmeter and see if I can pin down why they're not actually firing and then hopefully fix it. All right, guys, that didn't take long at all. Actually, I found the problem almost immediately. Ended up just being, the wire was loose on the wide open throttle switch, but I ended up rewiring a couple things. Not even really rewiring, I just kind of cleaned up the wiring a little bit. But now you can hear, I'll flip the arm switch on. We'll give her full throttle. Now you can hear the solenoids. So you can hear them clicking now, so that's good. We are ready to spray the house down, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and button everything up for tonight, and then we'll call it a night on that one. All right, you guys, the hatch officially runs. We got the nitrous kit all working now, and we are basically, all I gotta do is get my coolant lines on Friday, tomorrow after work, and then we're ready to actually start this thing up, let it run for a little bit, maybe let it even get warm, and then we can take it up and get it tuned. So we are very close, guys, this freaking close. Also, some pretty big news, Hafferlin Performance, if you guys are familiar with them, they're one of only two main people that do anything for the Honda V6s. They offer all kinds of aftermarket parts, from rods to pistons to billet shifters, anything that you might want for your J-Swap or J-Series build. They reached out to me on Instagram actually and offered me a sponsorship. So I am now partnering up with Hafferlin Performance happily, and we're gonna really be pushing the limits of this thing. So super stoked about that, super stoked to be part of the Hafferlin team. It means a lot to me that they reached out and you know, recognize my build and what I'm doing and how hard I'm working to get this thing going. So I cannot wait to see what the future holds between myself and the Hafferlin team. So yeah, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. It's been a pretty good amount of work, but we got this thing running and I could not be more excited about it. Hopefully next time I see you guys, we'll be buttoning up the coolant system and actually maybe taking it for a drive. We'll see. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching as always, and we will see you next time.